Okay, good morning class, welcome back. Today we are going to start with the independent kingdoms that cropped up after the decline of the Mughal Empire. Okay, now the first kingdom that we are going to do about is the Maratha kingdoms. Now after the decline of the Mughals, the Maratha as a kingdom started rising in power. Now see, in the previous classes we learned that the Mughal emperor, the powers of the Mughal emperor was declining. They started becoming extremely weak. Now we have already done the reasons. Now looking at this, there were other rulers who wanted their kingdoms to become an empire. Even they wanted to be as powerful as the Mughals and dethrone, that means remove the Mughals, and then grow their kingdom into an empire. So one of the kingdom was the Marathas. Now, we have to do line by line from the book. Now the Marathas emerged as a strong contender, meaning a strong rival, a strong enemy of the declining Mughals. They overcame the setback caused by the killing of Shivaji's son and successor Shambhaji in the battle with Aurangzeb. So here you have learned that Aurangzeb, when he was the Mughal emperor, he had killed Shivaji's successor. Now Shivaji was the ruler of the Marathas, and Aurangzeb on the other hand was the ruler of the Mughals. So when Aurangzeb was the ruler, when he had fought with the Marathas, had killed the then ruler Shivaji's successor. Understood? So now after the powers of the Mughals declined, the Marathas saw an opportunity to take, what are they going to do is to take revenge on what Aurangzeb had done. Now the rise of the Marathas began after the death of Aurangzeb. So you can see that after the death of Aurangzeb, the powers of the different kingdoms started rising. His son and successor Bahadur Shah I released Sahu, who remained in Mughal captivity from the age of 7 to 28 years. So you can see that Sahu was the grandson of Shivaji. Okay, this is the Mughals and the Marathas. Alright, now when Aurangzeb was the ruler, Shivaji was the ruler of the Marathas, and during a battle Aurangzeb killed Shivaji. Aurangzeb killed Shivaji and also captured Sahu. Sahu was taken in captivity. Sahu, from the age, it is given in the book, first paragraph. Alright, first paragraph, last line. Aurangzeb, after killing Shivaji, after fighting a battle with the Marathas, after he killed the ruler of the Marathas, now the next successor should have been Sahu, his grandson. But what did Aurangzeb do? Aurangzeb captured Sahu and brought him to stay with the Mughals, in captivity as a prisoner. So Sahu, from the age of 7 to 28 years, stayed under the captivity of the Mughals. But after Aurangzeb died, the present Maratha rulers fought against the Mughals and released Sahu, who had then become 28 years old. So then Sahu was taken back to the Maratha kingdom and then again made the ruler of the Marathas. Alright, now after Sahu's release, his aunt Tarabai, the caretaker of the Maratha kingdom, refused to accept him as the Maratha ruler. She staked the claims of her son Shambhaji for the Maratha throne. Now when Sahu was in captivity, Sahu's aunt Okay, Sahu's aunt Tarabai was looking after the kingdom. Now when Sahu was released, Tarabai, his aunt, did not accept him as the ruler. Why? Is because she wanted her own son Sambhaji to become the ruler of the Marathas. Okay, now she set up a parallel kingdom of Kolhapur. Now what did she do is the people Marathas accepted, they rejected Tarabai's claim. They rejected the aunt's son as the ruler and they accepted Sahu as the original, as the real ruler of the kingdom, the Maratha kingdoms. So what did Tarabai do is she took her family, she took her people and she made a parallel, meaning under the Marathas she made another kingdom in a place called Kolhapur. Okay, now while Sahu ruled from Satara, soon Sahu emerged as the undisputed Maratha king with the assistance of Balaji Vishwanath, who was later appointed as the Peshwa. Okay, I'm going to tell you what is the meaning of Peshwa also. So later on, see, I already told you that the people, the Marathas, accepted Sahu as the original ruler. So when Tarabai went away with her people, collected a few people, army, and made her parallel kingdom in a place called Kolhapur, Sahu was ruling from a place called Satara. Now Satara and Kolhapur was under the Maratha kingdom. So later on, when people saw that a fight was beginning between the people of Kolhapur and Satara, that means between the people of Tarabai, the aunt, and between the people of Sahu. So what did they do is later on they rejected Tarabai and her son as the rulers and they accepted Sahu as the real ruler of the Marathas. Now the rule of the Peshwa. Now who is a Peshwa? A Peshwa is the prime minister. Under the Marathas, the Peshwa is a prime minister who helps the Maratha kings to rule the Maratha kingdom. So just like when we were doing the Mughal Empire, we learned about the nobles, okay, who helped. They were like the chief ministers that we have in the present day country. They are like the chief ministers who helped the prime minister to rule the country. So those nobles helped the Mughal emperor. So here in the Maratha kingdom, the Peshwa is, now he was a Brahmin. So a Peshwa is a Brahmin prime minister who helped the Maratha king to rule the Maratha kingdom. Okay, who was the Peshwa? It's in the first paragraph itself. The Peshwa were the Brahmin prime ministers of the Maratha kings. Gradually they became hereditary rulers of the Maratha empire. So hereditary means if the father is the prime minister, not prime minister, Peshwa in this case, if the father was the Peshwa, automatically the son would also become the Peshwa. Alright, the son, if the father was the Peshwa, the son would also become the Peshwa. So that is hereditary rule. Now, through their skillful political and military leadership, they transformed the Maratha kingdom into an empire. So now you can see that the Mughal empire, the powers of the Mughal empire was declining, but the powers of the Marathas were increasing. So here, because the Peshwa, just like Aurangzeb, because like the Peshwa were very strong, were capable, they had the military power, leadership, the skillful political leadership. So because of all these characteristics, they were able to to convert their small kingdom into a huge empire by fighting with other kingdoms and capturing those kingdoms and making their small kingdom into a large empire. Okay, Balaji Vishwanath. The rise of the Peshwa began under the rule of Sahu. That means the rules of the Marathas. Initially, who was the first ruler to help to increase the powers of the Maratha is Shivaji's grandson, and his name was Sahu. Now, Balaji Vishwanath, the rise of the Peshwa began under the rule of Sahu. His shrewd Peshwa, that means he was very cunning Peshwa, Balaji Vishwanath, started exercising the powers of the king. By taking some strategic action, he secured many concessions from the Mughals. Now, he also helped the Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath, also helped the Said brothers, who were the kingmakers in the Mughal court, in dethroning the Mughal Empire. So Balaji Vishwanath, who was the first Peshwa, he was very cunning. Okay, so because of his cunning attitude, he was not only able to capture the power of the king, but when he was fighting against the Mughals, he was able to get some concessions from the Mughals as well, from his enemies. And apart from that, he also helped the Said brothers. Okay, the Said brothers in dethroning, in removing the rulers of the Mughals, of the Mughal Empire. Now, during Balaji Vishwanath's tenure, that means the time that he was ruling, the Marathas got back their territories that was captured by Aurangzeb. Now, I told you Aurangzeb ruled for 50 years and he had captured many territories. But when Balaji Vishwanath became the Peshwa, he was able to get back the territories from the Mughals, those territories that Aurangzeb had captured. They were also allowed to charge two types of taxes. So Balaji Vishwanath was also allowed to charge two types of taxes called the Chaud and Sadeshmukhi from the farmers in 6 Mughal provinces. So you can see the cunning nature of Balaji Vishwanath. He was able to collect taxes from the farmers from those territories which belonged to the Mughals. So the area was under the Mughals, but they were paying taxes to the Marathas. Alright, so because of all these nature, Balaji Vishwanath was able to rise in power. Not only his power, but he was able to capture many territories and rise the power of the Maratha Kingdom. Alright, so we are going to do till here today. In the next class, we shall be doing about the second rulers of the Maratha, that is Baji Rao the First. Okay, thank you.